Greetings, dear ones. Happy Saturday, the 11th of December. This was a reschedule from yesterday. I was in a retreat all day yesterday. Fabulous opportunity to kind of reset some things, which we'll be doing on the 21st, on the solstice. I have sent out some invitations. If you have not received details, please go to either Applied Universal Alchemy Group and become a member, because there's lots of other information that comes through on that. I have also created it as an event that should be visible to you if you just click on your events tab. And we will be doing some resetting. The solstice is a powerful, powerful time, and now more than ever. So please see me. This is a free event. However, you must be registered because I'm doing it through Zoom. And if you participate, there's a lot of back and forth, your contribution, but also readings that are particular to you. So I encourage you to sign up for that and enjoy a very wonderful time to kind of envelop all of the season. I want to today focus on some of the cosmic events that are occurring. And if you may or may not have heard, we have an asteroid flying by, we have a comet flying by, we have many, many things going on in our galaxy. And why I bring these up is because we are part of a very interrelated and interdependent system on this planet, with aspects of the planet as well as our neighborhood, which is our solar system, and even greater area, which is the galaxy, and of course beyond that as well. But immediate back and forth is from our solar system and our galaxy and the Earth, and how they interact with one another, the different factors. We are made of star stuff. I know you've probably heard that before, but what that actually means is that we have the same chemical components. We have the same, many of the same structures, certainly of the Earth. And we also, on a physical basis, are affected by the cosmic bodies in our immediate area. Again, immediate I call galactic. And because so most of us here on this planet, including all that makes it up, are from a different place. We have come here for an exploration, for an adventure, for an opportunity to expand our soul knowledge, to particularly focus on an aspect of soul that can be represented in the human in certain ways, and through that exploration, widen our soul's experience within a wholeness or oneness. So it's kind of our individuation. And because we are eternal beings, we have existed in many, many forms, many of us, throughout many different locations within the galaxy and beyond. So when people talk about aliens, pretty much all of us are. except for indigenous. The indigenous cultures were developed through the earth in a different way. So a lot of beings here, particularly human beings, have not experienced being in a human form before this. And many others, particularly old souls, seekers, um, those that are expanding their mystical container, so to speak, have studied or explored from a wide variation of angles this particular planet and all of the ways in which it is interconnected to locations in the galaxy and even in our supercluster of galaxies. Because lives, as people refer to them, past lives, it is not actually past because we are actually existing in those other realities simultaneously. Which is why when you are encountering something here on a very deep emotional or spiritual, well, or energetic basis, it is connected to, very likely connected to, another existence. So the transmutation of a particular issue, challenge, wound here on this planet, when explored deeply enough, can affect you in another reality, and vice versa. That channel opening comes when you have gotten to know yourself humanly at a very deep level. And then there is an interchange of information, knowledge, etc., from that other reality to you here to be able to access your form of creation and design your life and create your life. So a lot of the designing we're going to be doing, designing for this next year at the very least, and probably beyond, in our solstice event on the 21st. So again, I need everyone to register. It is free, donation only to the Camden Rescue Mission, but there are some things that I need you to gather or do prior to the solstice. So please make sure you give yourself plenty of time ahead to do so. So register quickly. So today, as I mentioned, we're very, very much affected by and interlinked with the comet Leonard, which is the brightest of this year. And just looking at my notes for timing, at this point in time, it is able to be seen in the late morning. I've seen two different estimates, but if you look in the early morning, you can find out information on the internet of where and how to see it, but it can be seen with binoculars or a small telescope. Excuse me. And then it'll still be, it'll pass by us, go towards the sun, and then will be available to be seen in the evening hours around December 17th. This is a once-in-a-lifetime comet because it only comes around every 80,000 years. Although it's been observed recently that it is fading, so it's behaving a little bit strangely. It may in fact break up and we will not ever be able to encounter it again. Now, the other large cosmic event right now is Nereus, Nereus, and that is an asteroid that is as wide as the Eiffel Tower is high. Not an extremely large asteroid, but large enough that it will still have an effect on us and our bodies. It passed by this morning, the East Coast, around 8:15. I've seen another estimate at 10:15, but in either case, it's happening today, Saturday, the 11th of December. And when I say close by, that it's flying close by, or astronomers say it's a close flyby, we're still talking about 2.4 million miles. And that doesn't sound very close. However, within a galactic proportion, it's knocking on our door. And they've estimated that this particular asteroid has at least a $5 billion value. And that is due to the minerals and other elements that are found within it. Primarily, we have iron, nickel, and cobalt, which I'll mention in a minute when I'm talking about, well, let's just go to it right now. Cobalt is a very fascinating element on our table of elements. It is, many of you may have heard of the color cobalt blue, and I encourage you to explore more of that. But when we're talking about an element that is actually vital to our system, it's in our body. It is in our systems, and there can be either you can have too little of it, or you can have too much of it. And when you have too little of it, there is an effect on the body. It does it can cause great detriment, as well as when you there's actually a poisoning that you can get from too much cobalt. So there are actually many industrial applications for cobalt, and it's mined primarily in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And these are significant to find out about, not only for your own body and where you might be missing, or you might have excuse me, you might have a bit of an excess, in which case you might want to adjust things. Now that's different from cobalt poisoning. That's from being around it in a large way, and it can cause nausea and some very uncomfortable things within the system. But a deficiency can also throw you off balance. Our bodies are such intricately and sophisticated apparatus that one mineral out, or one chemical imbalance, can really throw off your system. It can throw off your daily life. So I encourage you to explore when you're hearing maybe a lot about a particular element or chemical component, because most of them are found in our bodies. And that's why, the statement, we are made of star stuff, because we are the same chemical components. And very particularly on the Earth, our bodies and the Earth system are intertwined and interrelated. So what goes on in the Earth, on the Earth, in the skies around the Earth, have a direct connection and effect on our bodies, our psyches, and our energy fields. Very definitely, it goes through the energy field into the body. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because we've had some very drastic weather events this week. Certainly for the past couple years, and this year as well, very much so. And from what the looks of it is, we are going to be encountering a lot more very large and potentially devastating weather phenomena. I'm sure you've noticed some unusual things occurring all around the world. We've had much flooding recently. Um, Indonesia is suffering greatly from recent flooding. Um, Hawaii had a blizzard, in case you missed that little piece of information. We have Ghana. Are now people are commuting to work on boats because there is so much flooding and it's not receding. In Scotland, there is freezing, raging, freezing weather that is, again, wreaking havoc in many different ways. You may have heard of the story of a snowstorm so huge in Denmark that people working in IKEA could not leave and spent the night there using the furniture and all of the wonderful things available in IKEA. I have many myself. And Canada, they're now cleaning up the huge amount of animal corpses from flooding there. And of course, in case you haven't heard today, Kentucky, Illinois have had absolutely destructive tornadoes. One town in particular is almost completely flattened, with many feared dead. And despite all of the scientific evidence that we have for climate change and the effects on our economies, our lives, our homes, our environment immediately around us, and further on a global basis, people don't seem to be changing. And those who are very, very aware of it, it isn't up to the corporations and the governments. It is up to the daily choices we make and our continued efforts to ameliorate even in our immediate neighborhoods. And that means being aware of local flora and fauna and not bringing in just decorative or clean trees and bushes, i.e., they don't throw off as many leaves, or they don't have branches that are low so that, there's dangers. These choices that we make in our own yards affect not only the flora and fauna and all of the microbes and insects that depend upon it and the birds. When that system, that circle gets broken, it has direct effect on our bodies. There aren't the microbes in the land, then our food isn't getting the right chemicals for our bodies to be able to function properly. So it behooves each one of us. We're seeing large economic devastation from these huge weather events, and insurance companies are taking note. Our insurance is going up, will go up even more. Investors are saying they're making choices for climate change or to alleviate some of the aspects of climate change, and yet their voting doesn't really reflect that. So shareholders, if you are a shareholder in anything, if you have investments, it's really important that you find out exactly what is being invested in, if they are following any of the words about investing in more sustainable ways and means, or actually decreasing emissions, etc. or packaging or what have you. And that brings us back again to our power as a people. We get to vote as investors, as you know, if your company has a fund that you receive benefit from or will receive benefit from, find out what they're voting on, find out what's going on, and looking very, very closely, bringing it back to the individual. What are you doing on a daily basis to lessen your impact? And how are you feeling in relation to what's going on with the weather? Since it is such an intricate and intimate interrelationship with the earth, you may receive, a lot of effect from both weather events and cosmic events. If you're a sensitive or an old soul, your body and your energy field are going to be very much affected. And the more you know about what's going on and how to adjust or work with that aspect energetically and physically, the better you're going to be. Now, those are also interrelated and interconnected with what's going on psycho-emotionally. And we have, again, excuse me, reflecting those weather events and these large cosmic events are global events. We have a discussion right now that's going on along the border of Ukraine that could erupt into war. We have many other areas of violence and attempt to control and dominate a population. And this affects us. How are you, with any increase or with the increase in turmoil and chaos and all that's going on the planet, how are you exerting control? Because that's usually the response. When there's something scary, there's something upsetting, we go into control mode. Whether that's control of ourselves, our own system, we shut it down, we shrink it, we attempt to do anything that we can to not feel it. Or oftentimes it's controlling our environment. Whether that's our homes, whether that's our workspace, whether that's people in our lives. And that control has very many forms. It doesn't always look like what you may think. A lot of last week's themes were about overdoing, overhelping, doing for others to the extent where it becomes very, very detrimental to our system. And certainly during these holiday times, it's very easy to do so, to feel that push, to feel that crunch, to please everybody, to make everybody okay, to take care of everyone, to make everyone happy by doing what they expect or want. And it can be extremely draining and affecting on our system. Meanwhile, as we have these other occurrences going on around us, globally, environmentally, and cosmically. So there is a call, and to finish that up, that overdoing, that taking care of, that is a form of control. So I would invite you to explore in you what is the underlying feeling that may be compelling or energizing that need to make sure everybody is well and good and happy. There is a healthy level of that, and then there is a line that gets crossed, and a line for you because it is causing a drain or in some way negatively affecting your system physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically. And it is also affecting others because there's a reaction from them in that. Another very interesting cosmic event this week, among many others that astronomers and astrophysicists are seeing. But in this particular case, it's a very strange way in which our main black hole of our galaxy is behaving. That instead of, as is previously believed, everything getting sucked in, some of that material is being kind of grabbed and shot out in jets. And that's a very, very powerful effect, because what goes on in that black hole of our galaxy and our galaxy itself is very intricately intertwined with the evolution of humanity. And we'll talk about that another day and more in the solstice event. But ancient cultures, Sumerians, Egyptians, Greeks, have been, and others have been watching the skies for thousands upon thousands of years. And that movement, the constellations, the stars, all have significance and meaning. And so when there's certain constellations that are more present in our Earth experience, that directly affects humanity's evolutionary progress. And all of these cosmic events are here showering energetics down upon this planet to catalyze, to spark, to help to wave through many of the evolutionary processes. And you as an individual working your own challenges, issues, woundings, traumas, etc., have a direct, immediate, and oftentimes, depending on how deeply you explore, which is what we do in one-on-one sessions, depending on how deeply you explore, the effects can be very, very wide-ranging. So I encourage you, when it feels like there's so much going on in the world, so much that is affecting so many, and what can one person do? Well, one person in your individual exploration, transformation, deeper still, transmutation, deeper still, metamorphosis of aspects of your human challenges affect humanity's evolution, affect your lineage from both sides, affect the culture that you are living in and previous cultures that your family is connected to. It affects also the way man interacts with the earth. Because if you are in deeper relationship with yourself, with your body, with your inner being, that relationship changes the relationship man has to the earth, the relationship man has to one another, the relationship man has to its future, and the relationship that man has to that larger, whatever you want to call it, divine, God, universal intelligence, whatever. We are part of something larger than this human experience, which is why we are very, very connected to the rest of the universe. So, um, let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. No, just a reminder to please investigate a little bit cobalt, its effects on the body. Also, I would encourage you to find something that is that cobalt blue. Strangely enough, one of my supplements that I take is right here on my desk, and this is cobalt blue. Trying to see if you can see it, the bottle itself. And you find many different supplements because it is protective. It preserves the ingredients. This happens to be a liquid, so it again prevents it from losing much of its strength. And as I said, cobalt is used in industries, many different industries. And our relationship with the countries that mine it, the transportation, we're really feeling that now here in, the results of the pandemic. That because of that, because of people not being able to work, because of people um, lockdowns, shutdowns, etc., the movement of global trade has been slowed and stopped. And that does affect what goes on in our world, our immediate world. And we have to now widen our awareness. So the particular country that cobalt comes from is, as I mentioned before, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Find out what goes on there. What is it about? What is their, what are their challenges, etc. How much do we depend on them? How much do they depend on us? It it is no longer possible to isolate and to just look in your immediate area and kind of put our head in the sand. It doesn't work anymore. We are global citizens. And all of the attempts to separate us and keep us isolated and keep us ignorant of what's going on in the rest of the world is occurring. There are still many tyrants, there are still many dictators who are attempting to maintain that control by division and by separation and by isolation. So all of this affects us. The point in each week that we do this ancient future wisdom is to bring forward the information, the factors that are current to all of us. And that's why it's so fabulous when you all participate and comment and let me know what's going on in your world, what you are experiencing, what different helpers have come through for you, be it animal, be it astrological, whatever you're noticing. If you even have a health challenge, what chemical, what element, what aspect of the body, which corresponds to an emotional or psychological piece. There is so much that we can do, that we have power to do. So I really want to invite you to the solstice event. There's going to be a lot of practices that we're going to do, and as I mentioned earlier, it's really, the sooner you do, the better. I would say, no later, try by the 15th, so that I can give you the instructions and the items that you need to bring for the ceremony and for the most benefit. So please do so. Right now, in case you haven't felt it, the energetics have been stirring and moving and pouring in, and I'm going to invite you to receive the benefit of those by sinking down deeply within you. Now that's a little bit different than possibly you're used to as far as meditating. So if you can just find your sits bones, which are the two bones right on the in the center of each of your cheeks of your bottom, and really kind of push into them, wiggle around until you can find them. Sometimes just pulling a little bit of the, not lifting up, but just pulling a little bit of the tissue away so that you can feel them a little better. Doesn't matter how much, trust me, it doesn't matter how much tissue is there. You can still find them and sit on them. And what that allows you to do is then to really let your bone structure, let your system, your spine align and do the work it's supposed to for you, which isn't holding you up. We all kind of sit up and we pull up our shoulders on a general basis, and that not only creates a great deal of discomfort for us, but also it pulls our energy field upward, and that doesn't allow us to infill our bodies and be more fully connected to our bodies and our all four of our bodies, our emotional, mental, spiritual, and energetic bodies. And that makes us even more scared. It makes us feel more powerless because we're depending on our brains and our and rationality to resolve everything, which does not and cannot. So when you are more deeply connected into you, you have the benefit of much more information. You have the benefit of feeling a secure and safe presencing of yourself on this planet, no matter what the winds of change or um, winds, tornadoes, etc., are blowing through. So I invite you to settle in to your body, settle on to those sits bones, and allow the alchemical combination of all that I've been speaking of, all that you've been encountering, all the both not so comfortable and pleasant things also that you've been experiencing the past week, and let them all be here, because that's what alchemy is. We have many different combinations of ingredients. We have the heat and the fire of emotions. We also have a lot of activity on the inside of the earth. I didn't mention we've had many, many earthquakes, 40-something earthquakes in a very short period of time over the West. A cluster of 55 earthquakes off the coast of Oregon. All of this is interconnected. So besides the cobalt in that asteroid that is passing by, there is a great deal of iron and nickel. Again, part of the inner workings of the inner layers of the earth and the very core of the earth, the iron. So, and of course, I'm sure you're well aware that you have iron in your body that can be deficient, or it can even be in excess. Nickel is also one of the things in that $5 billion asteroid, and we, again, another chemical within the body, another element. So you may have been experiencing a lot of disruption in your body. You may have been experiencing a lot of kind of being tossed and thrown around this past week or so, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically. So when you allow yourself to sit on those sits bones and invite and allow, asking and allowing your body, asking and allowing your energy field, asking and allowing your wider self, asking and allowing your guides and teachers and masters, all your helpers, to bring to you at this point in time information, a particular energetic, and for that combination that is here in this container of sacred geometry that has been building all week, and that your very presence, your input, whether you are here live or listen at another point in time, it still will benefit, it still will affect, it still will color this mixture and blending of factors for the highest outcome, whatever that may look like or end up being for you, for our planet, as well as our neighboring solar system or neighborhood solar system, and galactic forces. We are not only global citizens, but galactic citizens as well, and there is a back and forth. You benefiting the Earth, you benefiting our solar system, you benefiting our galaxy, and vice versa. Please allow yourself to know how significant, how important, how purposeful your presence is here on this planet, particularly at this time. So, as you've now invited, excuse me, your body, energy field, wider self, and guides and teachers and masters to join you in this alchemical crucible, I now invite you to allow, and that means no doing, no efforting, no intention, no purpose, but simply allowing your inner verse, your internal wisdom, which is directly communicating with your wider self, your soul self, to do all the work. We are going to be calling in the elements themselves as earth, air, or soil, air, fire, and water are again the basic elements that make up everything else. And we're going to invite them to bring into right relationship your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. Anytime you feel out of kind of whack, you can call upon the elements to put back in right relationship the four bodies of you. We're also going to call on the chief to bring in the influences of the directions the direction of the east for illumination, the direction of the west for introspection, the direction of the south for wide-eyed wonder and playfulness and innocence. We're going to call on the direction of the north for patience, prayerfulness, wisdom. We're going to call on the direction of above from all of those cosmic bodies and the many beings that are involved in this extremely intricate, sophisticated interrelationship, interdependence between this planet and those cosmic bodies, between our bodies and those cosmic bodies. We're also going to call in the direction of below, with all the hidden realms within this planet itself, as well as all of the engineers and maintenance beings that keep this physical planet and as always, the ancients, an intergalactic council that I've been working with for several decades. To pass on any information that they want you to know at this point in time. And knowing that all is done under the auspices of the Supreme Council of Universal Spiritual Law. All of which takes this out of any efforting on your part. But again, I invite you, instead of going out through the third eye, to allow yourself to come down and into your inner verse, where your internal wisdom knows exactly what's right for you at this time. That's why it's so much more beneficial for you to stay in connection and aware of any physical sensations, any energetic sensations, not to do anything with them, not to have to analyze them or figure them out, but simply sensate and notice. If If your guides, teachers, and masters have anything, or your wider self have anything to share with you, they will do so. Not necessarily in clear English sentences, but oftentimes in the form of symbol, sound, shape, song, song title, storybook, legend, myth, memory, cartoon, character from a book or movie. Again, your innate knows exactly what to do for you, exactly what combination of factors, energetics are ideal for you at this time. So you may notice the edges of your body getting a little diffuse or less defined. For when you sink down deeply within, you may end up actually traveling to another place of you, another reality of you, or you may just experience stillness or calm, or maybe it feels as if you're getting sleepy. That's quite alright as well. Whatever is just right for you. That's why this is not a set form. But I am very aware of certain areas of the body that may be working or worked on right now for you. You just notice if your attention is brought to any particular area within or on your body. If not, no worries. Perhaps it is not the physical aspect of you that is calling for if you are sensitive to energy or energy aware, you might be experiencing kind of waves or even a spiral motion. If not, again, no worries. Each one is experiencing individually exactly what is right for you. So let go of any visioning or any requirement through your third eye. that enables you to have a deeper, wider, more personal and internal experience. All the many factors combining in this alchemical process that can actually have magical effects. And by magical, I mean simply extremely rapid and beyond what you would have imagined. For as you were invited earlier to place in this crucible anything that is uncomfortable, causing distress, or challenging in your life, it not only contributes but can be responded to, again, in ways beyond what you may envision. And that's where the allowing comes in even more deeply and strongly. There are solutions, resolutions, transformations of pieces This is a time of magic. Allow yourself to be encircled by that magic. And again, magic being an immediate response or almost immediate response to a need, to a request, and in a way that was beyond your capability or beyond the solutions known to you. Some of you may be experiencing kind of an increase and then a decrease, different waves energetically moving through your body, your energy field. And as the integrating of all that has occurred begins, nothing you need do, no efforting on your part. Trust your wider self and your energy field to know exactly how, at what pace, and in what timing that is exactly right for you. And if you choose to stay in this energetic container, no worries. Whenever you decide to be more in the physical once again versus the non-physical, your system will be integrated and in the exact right physical for you. And if anything has come up for you or does in the next couple days after you see this, please comment, please contact me here on Facebook, or however, if you'd like to explore more where this is truly individuated for you in your process of becoming more you. And as always, next week we'll be back to our Friday time of 1 p.m. live. And the 21st will be the solstice event. And in the new year, we're going to have an all-day retreat for resetting and redesigning various parts of you and your life. And as well, group programs will be starting in January that you probably want to take advantage of for the transformation that occurs in those group programs are very intense, or not intense, but they're very radical changes that take place in people's lives. So please contact me if you'd like some more information about them. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend, and as always, it is with the deepest of honor, gratitude, and love for your presence on the planet that I bid you adieu. Bye bye now.